Singh, who is joining us live from outside RPN Singh's residence. Anshul, are you hearing anything? 2:30 is the official joining, I believe. Have you heard at all from RPN Singh, if he's saying anything at this moment?
Not as of now, Shreya, not as of now. RPN Singh hasn't come out to respond, but yes, it is expected in the next few minutes. RPN Singh will leave from here. Currently, I'm standing outside the house, but it is expected in the next few minutes. RPN Singh will leave from here and go to 6 TDU Mark, the BJP office, where he will be formally joining the BJP. So yes, as our reporters have been pointing out, that yes, RPN Singh was actually having the differences with the Congress High Command for the past few months, and the Congress High Command hasn't tried to reach out to him and lure him back to his party. So yes, RPN Singh deciding to join the BJP has come out as a surprise mainly to the Congress, because we have seen over the past few weeks the slew of resignations that have come out of the Congress. The core Rahul Gandhi team that was called upon have already started leaving Rahul Gandhi. So yes, RPN Singh today resigning from the Congress and joining the BJP is definitely going to be a big setback for the Congress party, especially in the upcoming UPA elections, because remember, in the next 10 to 15 days the UPA elections are going to go on board. And yes, RPN Singh, one of the biggest OBC faces of the Congress, leaving Congress and going to the #1 party of BJP is definitely being seen as a setback for now.
Okay, Arun Tata, you're joining us live from the BJP office. Do we know who is going to be present when RPN Singh does join the BJP? I'm fairly certain the party will make a big show of it.
Well, absolutely, Shreya. 2:30 is the time when RPN Singh is formally going to join Bharatiya Janata Party. In fact, as we speak, the CEC for Manipur and Uttar Pradesh tickets are going on. So all the senior leaders, likes of Amit Shah, JP Nadda, all are here at the BJP headquarters. You know, RPN Singh is a big catch for BJP and a big loss for the Congress party. He's popularly known as Raja Sahab or Patrona in Kushinagar. And the entry of RPN Singh is going to help BJP in various aspects. Optics and messaging, of course, that will work ahead of the Uttar Pradesh election. And secondly, he comes from the Kurmi community, which comes under the OBC category and which has close to 5 to 7% of voters in Uttar Pradesh. So that will help in that matter as well. In fact, we know how Swami Prasad Maurya has left BJP and joined Samajwadi Party. So just to match up with that, you know, it is going to help BJP in both the aspects there in Uttar Pradesh. And he comes from Kushinagar, where 4, seats are there, and he has a huge influence in all those 4 assembly seats. So what role he's going to get in BJP, that's something which we do not know, whether he's going to contest elections or his aides will be fighting tickets or elections on the BJP. That's something which we'll know.
Okay. It's still not clear whether he'll fight the election, but as Maurya is pointing out, given the fact that he's joining right ahead of the election and not waiting till the elections get over, clearly means that he could possibly be fielded against Swami Prasad Maurya of the Samajwadi Party. Before I let all our reporters go, Pallavi, I have a quick question for you before I go to my guests. I want to ask you this. You speak to Congress leaders across states. I want to ask you this. In Uttar Pradesh especially, is there a feeling that the party has become a liability on the candidate, that even if the candidate works, does hard work on the ground, etc., simply the fact that he's fighting from a Congress ticket means he'll lose or she will lose?
Well, I can only give, in response to what you're asking me, give this response, which I got in from a very senior UP Congress leader. We win despite our party in Uttar Pradesh. So it's their personal connect, it's their personal equations with the voters, the fact that we worked on the ground, they consider is a bigger reason why they may win the elections in Uttar Pradesh rather than the tag of being a Congress leader. Yes, the Congress has become a liability in the sense that it doesn't have an infrastructure, and frankly speaking, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has herself been very open about the fact that, you know, the infrastructure or the organization is extremely weak. But you know what has also happened, Shreya, over the years is that, you know, even many of the leaders of UP have not even bothered to build up their base, and therefore they have perhaps got caught up in the chicken and egg controversy of being hinging too much or depending too much on the Congress tag, which often proves to be a liability for them. And those who realize it, perhaps realize it a little bit too late, and then it happens. Jitin Prasad and RPN Singh is actually an best case example of when they realize that being a part of the Congress party will no longer ensure a good political future for them in the state.
Okay, we leave it there then. Thank you very much, Pallavi, Maria, Arun, Pranshu for joining us, and Anshul there as well. Thank you very much. We'll come back to you as and when those pictures are beamed live to us from the BJP headquarters at 2:30. For the moment, on my screens, our guest this afternoon, we have Sanjay Jha. Are you still called a rebel Congress leader? Or are you just a political analyst now? I'm not sure what to call you, but welcome to the show. Good afternoon. Good to have you on the show. Ambikanand Sahai, good to have you on the show as well. Sanjay, I'm going to start with you. And I'm going to start with this question. Are you surprised at all that the Baba brigade of the Congress party, one by one, is deserting the party?
No, I'm not surprised at all. And I'm very disappointed that the Congress party doesn't seem to be learning from the mistakes of the past. I mean, frankly, Jyotiraditya should have never left the party. So there is clearly what I believe is a terrible fault line within, which is that the leaders in the party can't really access the party leadership, and that very few people are able to get a voice, and very rarely are they heard. So you lost Jyotiraditya, Jitin, today RPN. Now I've known all of them at different times. And I can tell you all these guys are really cool people. They are nice people. They were ideologically committed to the Congress. One expected them to be really taking on the battles of the future. But I think the reason why they're leaving is because they just aren't being heard. And you know, people don't leave organizations. I've said it again and I'll repeat it on your show. People don't leave organizations. They leave their bosses.
And this is not just for politics, mind you. Huh? This is across the board. This is across the board. Ambikanandji, just come in here.
Yes.
You know, Sanjay Jha is saying, I'm not surprised at all. When you have a leadership, when you have a boss who simply does not want to listen, why will people want to stick around? Since 2014, fact is that times have changed. The way we do politics in this country has changed. And the Congress simply hasn't kept up with the times. So we should not be surprised with one leader after another leaving.
True. See, in the context of UP, I'll say one thing. Congress is almost irrelevant today in UP politics. You can't believe it that this glorious party which ruled, you know, from Lucknow for umpteen years has suddenly lost its relevance entirely. And RPN Singh, on his part, doesn't want to lose his relevance. Somebody tweeted a while ago that he is a deadweight. Somebody said he is a heavyweight. I would describe RPN Singh as a light middleweight. He is influential in Padrona and Kushinagar, but nothing beyond that. Now, if you want to compare him with Swami Prasad Maurya's cloud, Swami Prasad Maurya is a taller leader. His influence extends beyond Padrona, beyond Kushinagar, beyond Gorakhpur and Basti. So, but now it is making big news, RPN Singh thing, is just because BJP was on the defensive ever since these three OBC leaders had deserted the party and joined the Samajwadi Party. Now with RPN's entry at this point in time, BJP believes they will be on par in the battle of perception. Yes, Shreya.
Sanjay, Ambikanandji has put it well. He's saying he's not a dead weight, he's not a heavyweight. He's describing him as a light middleweight, as it were. That's not a particularly